Sometime in the 2020s, two geeks from across social media formed an alliance to bring you geek news from across the Nostalgiaverse. They are Jacob's Toys and SuperSorrell. So strap yourselves in for the weekly live show that brings you toy news, TV and movie reviews, special guests, opinions, tangents, and bad impressions. Reveals, releases, thoughts, and maybe dreams. So prepare yourselves for the Geek Week in Review. Live.
Oh, hello, welcome to the Geek Week with me, Jacob's Toys, and of course the wonderful one and only SuperSorrell. Sounding much better this week, Sorrel. I'm not going to lie. Sound much better.
I don't know. We said that, and then you press live, and all of a sudden the fans went like, no!
Oh, don't say that. Don't say that. Anyway, we are here. We are episode 158. 158 of the Geek Week. This week we're going to focus a little bit on San Diego Comic-Con and what what we know is coming and what we've kind of seen reveals for and stuff. And then we'll talk a little bit about some of the other stuff that's gone on in the week as well, like we do here on the Geek Week. There's loads of people in the chat already, as we say every week. Doesn't matter where you're watching, we go out across multiple platforms. So even if you're the only one watching on that particular platform, jump in with comments and we'll do our best to throw them up on the screen so we can get the kind of the conversation going. Give a couple of shout outs to some of the people we can see at the moment. Jordan Reviews and More is there. Bethany Beth, Andy Roberts, Bax is in the chat. Good Bax. Ezra Gantos, Toddworld, Shauna Sheep, Luna Spring is there. Shelley's there. Andy Roberts said, Jacob, I've ordered the Morbius hot toy. Just had to. I love it. Love a bit of Morbius love. Love it. If you are watching live, obviously jump in with a chat. But if you're watching on catch up, like we know a lot of you do, Mr. Sorrel, what do they need to put in the chat?
Hashtag catch up.
There we go. There we go. How's your week been anyway, Sorrel? What have you been up to?
What have I done this week? What have I done? Not a lot, to be honest.
I say it like we don't talk every day.
I've been cinema a lot this week because I got my Cineworld card back this week, so I'm like,
nice.
I've gone back to being an unlimited member because I realized I was going to the cinema like multiple times a week sometimes, and it's like ridiculous. Yeah. May as well just be the monthly member again. So I got my card back, and I've been seeing all sorts of movies on the last week or so.
Nice. Which Quiet Place, right?
Quiet Place. I saw that, and I sat through the god awful The Exorcism.
Oh,
oh my god!
Wow.
So, if you didn't catch my thing on that, basically The Exorcism it's made by the director is the son of the guy that played Father Damien in The Exorcist. So, but they didn't have the rights to make a movie about The Exorcist, about the making of the movie Exorcist. That's basically what they wanted to do. So they made a movie about making an exorcism movie, but couldn't call it The Exorcist for legal reasons.
Wow.
And basically they started making this film in 2019. Then COVID hit, and the film got shelved. Then then Russell Crowe made the Pope's Exorcist,
mm-hmm.
and that was a financial success at the box office. Some bright spark at Viacom basically went, oh, we've got a film like that, stored in the archive. Let's release that bad boy. So they threw that into cinemas the last couple of weeks, and it's a diabolical mess of a movie. It's horrible. And the best part is, if you look at the posters for the movie side by side, they're identical.
Oh dear! You know what?
Literally identical.
I read a really interesting article this week, and I think it might be a good subject for a future Geek Week. But it is basically twin films where you get two films that are released that are the same but slightly different, like Ants and Bugs Life. And what was the other one? Natural Born Killers and California. Do you know what I mean? And how you get these two films that are very similar, released at the same time. And
Book of Life and Coco.
Yes, yeah. One obviously always does significantly better than the other, and the other one kind of gets forgotten. So that might be a good subject for the future. What was without any spoilers, what was Quiet Place like? Because I'm a fan of that franchise.
Not as scary as the first two. There was more of a drama this time around, but it was cool having the guy, it's got Eddie in it. It's got Eddie in it from Stranger Things. So I mean, he's in it, and I can never say her name. Lupo,
from Black
she's
Panther,
in it.
right?
Yeah, from Black Panther, she's in it. So it's a good film. It's more of a drama than a horror, in my opinion, but it's still good.
Okay. Yeah, I'll probably still catch it.
Basically, if you're a fan of the franchise and like the idea of what A Quiet Place is, then you're gonna like it. It's the same.
All right, cool. It's one in franchise. I hope they don't do it to death, because obviously there is only so much. Like, you kind of know what you're getting from A Quiet Place film. Like, it's as long as they don't kind of do too much. Shelley's put in the chat, she just needs to know if the cat survives. The way you're laughing. So
I'm not saying if Dickie. There we go. On your own.
There we go. TV wise, did you catch much TV this week?
What have I caught up on? I've watched The Boys. I'm caught up on The Boys.
I love it. I love The Boys. Like,
Vault on Ice was the funniest thing on the planet.
Oh, I know.
That song was amazing.
The internet's really divided over season 4. They're saying that it's really kind of, but I just think that the Boys is really taking the mick out of like everything. Yeah. And it's just like the expo, like the bit that got me, which really cracked me up, was where they were like, they showed like the timeline of films, and they were like, we're going to go into way too much detail about all of these. Like, it's just, there's a lot of home truths there. But yeah, I absolutely love The Boys. I'm a huge fan of The Boys. I think it's just great, and you just can't go wrong with it.
I've not been watching The Acolyte. I'm going to say I'm not bothered for that at all at the minute. It's not doing it for me.
You know what? This last episode, again, no real spoilers, but it's all over the internet, so most people would have known. But you kind of find out who that stranger figure is, like who the Sith is. But there's lots of continuity, questionable things about what's said and everything. There are some really awesome lightsaber fights in this latest episode. Like that goes without saying. Like, there are some incredible lightsaber fights and some really brutal fatalities as well. Definitely worth watching if you're a fan of lightsaber fights, lightsaber duels. Definitely one for the books. I think I'd go as far as saying that it's probably one of my top 10 lightsaber. One of my top 10 lightsaber battles.
Yeah. Did you see the fact that there was an interview this week from the cast, and did you hear what one of them said?
No.
They're on about like people saying that this season's quite far-fetched and stuff like that, and it's a bit out there. And they basically responded. He responded by saying, "And it's not far-fetched when Anakin blew up the Death Star." And you just go, "Oh, it's like no."
Oh dear.
So dear.
Not fans of the franchise themselves.
Apparently not.
Dear, oh dear. But no, I wouldn't go as far as saying I'm a fan. When the Black Series figures were announced, I was like, this is amazing. I've got a whole bunch of Jedis that I can add to my Star Wars shelf. I'm keeping that space for something else now.
Yeah.
that's the best way of saying it. I'm not that much of a fan that I want to collect the figures, but I watch it. I look forward to it coming on. I watch it, and yeah.
I got annoyed that they started shoehorning characters in, which annoyed me. So like they've got characters in there that are either basically they are going to be the Jedi Masters that that we know later down the line, or they've just used the same species and doing that whole thing of going, this is meant to be, but we're not saying it. It's like one of them moments. Like they had I forgot the guy's name.
The long head.
He's there, isn't he? And basically Yoda's kicking about somewhere in this, and so it's like they didn't go far enough back. If they'd have gone further back to the to the proper High Republic area, would have been so much better. They've gone too close to the original franchise.
I was kind of hoping for something very familiar but very different, and it's just too familiar. Like the Jedi's dressed the same. Do you know what I mean? Like it's not. I think you've hit the nail on the head there. They didn't go far enough back. But yeah, while we're on the subject of Star Wars, though, Jordan Reviews and more is in the chat, and he said that he's making a proper replica Chewbacca costume at a cheaper price. He's got a Bigfoot suit for the head and the hands and the feet, and a one-piece bodysuit, and he's going to make the suit from undead monsters. Make the suit from undeadmonsters.com. Cool. That's pretty cool. I love seeing some cosplay. Yeah, I do like seeing some good cosplay figures. I saw somebody doing a Bumblebee costume that took them like a year and a half to make, and it was all like, you know, full bits and everything. But yeah, I don't know. Acolytes, it's always good to have more stuff. I mean, for me personally, I've actually gone back and started like the MCU timeline again, but I've kind of cherry picked. Well, I went back. The reason being, I went back to Iron Man 2 because I got that 1/4 scale figure, and I was like, I want to watch Iron Man 2 again just to kind of get hyped about this. Like, I was already hyped about the figure anyway, but I watched Iron Man 2 and I forgot how great it is. It's easily one of my favorite MCU films. And then I kind of cherry picked along the timeline and watched like Iron Man 3, Winter Soldier, Age of Ultron, obviously, because I was in it and I freeze framed this trying to see if I could see myself, but I couldn't. And I'm up to Infinity War again. And I really enjoyed it. And I think it's really made me realize how far we've come from those really good Marvel films, like, and how different the offering is now. But it has got me very hyped, even more so for Deadpool and Wolverine, because I think that's potentially going to be one of those ones. And the reason being is watching these films again, it was really exciting when you've got those cameos. It was like, oh, look, it's Rhodey from this, or Black Widow, who is in Iron Man 2, and here she is in this one, and Sam from, you know, Winter Soldier is now popped up at the end of this. You know, I mean, all those things. And I think Deadpool's going to give us that. I really do.
Do you think something that one of my friends said this week that made me go, oh, was this Deadpool movie? You know that everyone at the moment is hating on the on the current MCU, and nobody's really liked anything past Thanos.
Yeah.
And obviously, they now need to correct the problem of what's it called?
Kang.
Kang. They need to correct. They kind of need to scrub that from history now and do something new, and let the story make sense.
Yep.
What if in this Deadpool movie, he basically does something that's that because he's time traveling, he's changing multiverses and universes. What if he does something that just like changes the fabric of time, and that half of these movies after Thanos don't exist, and he pops out in an MCU that is post Endgame, and then it's like those other films just didn't exist?
It's possible.
Like he makes a branched timeline.
Yeah, they could easily do it.
I thought that was quite an interesting concept. Like it would be a quick. I know a lot of people hate that. It is lazy writing, but it's something Deadpool could get away with it.
Yeah,
because you could even have him break the fourth wall and do the whole. I just fixed the MCU in one afternoon.
Well, there is something very meta about it, because obviously we see the 20th Century Fox logo as part of the shrapnel in the void, or the end, or whatever it is that they're calling it in this film. But so there is something fourth wall breaky about it. So I don't know. I think the difficulty is there has been, if we cherry pick certain things, there has been a few really good things. So like Moon Knight, for example, did really well, and that's just been greenlit for a second series. So obviously, but that's not really crossed over with anything else. Nope. So it could be anywhere. I think that my theory is that we'll get this film, and there'll be some kind of ripple, and we'll just continue from there, if that makes sense. They won't necessarily wipe out what's happened. We just won't focus on that storyline. We'll focus this way. But yeah. Did you see as well that there was an IMAX poster released as well? And in the X, it's got the what's it called? The Blackbird.
Oh right, okay, the Blackbird.
Yeah, there's like a little picture of it in the X. But yeah, I don't. And we got another trailer as well, didn't we? We got another trailer.
We did. With Sabretooth.
You saw Sabretooth.
And like I said, that in a message to you, it wasn't Cotton Weary Sabretooth. It was the proper Sabretooth.
Yeah,
long blonde haired Sabretooth.
And that was from X-Men 1, wasn't it? That's
Scream for me.
Yeah. But But yeah, I just love the whole. It's so the whole bit where he's like, I'm a big fan. Like, you know, all this. Like, oh, you look a mess. Take all this out. Like, it's just looking really positive. Like, really positive. I'm just really excited. I'm really excited for it. Bethany Beth said, still not open them box figures, Jacob. If you're referring to my Street Fighter ones, no, I haven't. I haven't opened them yet. I will get to them. I will definitely get to them, but I haven't opened them yet. They are.
I made the guy in Smith's absolutely wet himself yesterday. I was in the shop, and I get on with the manager quite well. He sees me there all the time. I'm there like every week. He always texts me because I could set my clock on a Sunday to you turning up. And I basically got it was following the security guard was following me because I was filming. Obviously, I was like on my phone, so he kept following me. And the manager come up to me and put his arm around. Security guard went, "He's all right. You can leave him alone." And I turned around and I had the Bison Street Fighter. I went, "For the day SuperSorrell came just now was the most important day of your life, but for me it was Sunday." And he absolutely wet himself.
Amazing.
It was so funny.
They had a Bison in your one then.
Bison and Dalsim. The shelves in mine for Street Fighter, they've got Ken, Bison, they've got Dalsim on show. They've still got Ryu and Chun-Li and Fei Long. They've got like all 6 sat there on the shelf.
Nice.
And they've got tons of Cyclops again now, and another bunch of Cyclopses have turned up.
Yep.
There were quite a bit in my store this week. It was quite good.
Yeah, see, I haven't been down there for a little while, and I went down there on Saturday with my youngest son. It was his time to pick some stuff up, and I thought, yeah, we'll go to Smith's, we'll pick some stuff up. I'm well up for that. And there was nothing that took my fancy at all. I actually posted about it on Instagram because the only things that they had for Marvel Legends was a Cyclops, a Dr. Octopus from Nowhere Home, and one of those new Iron Spider repackages, you know, like yeah, which looked nice. They look nice in the box, but yeah, that's all they had there. And for Black Series, apart from a few things on discount, like the odd kind of Boba Fett kind of figures, they had some Stormtroopers. I think it was Stormtroopers or Clone Troopers. I didn't look too close. They literally had just like one figure, and I was like, wow, this is really. And then you turn around and you see like the Mattel side of Smiths, like it is caked.
Insane,
like, you know, there is still a big Hasbro presence, but unfortunately, mine hasn't really picked up on the Street Fighter stuff. So they've got like 1 or 2 figures, but they're at the bottom of the shelf and they're out the way. But Mattel is definitely dominating the shelves at Smith with the dinosaurs, the Jurassic Park, Lost World, Camp Cretaceous, Chaos Theory, and then obviously all the wrestling figures as well.
Yeah, my store. I know this isn't for everyone in our chat, but I'll share it anyway because I picked it up. But my store had gone literally. They must have had a delivery from Mattel because they literally had every single Monster High, like the new release of Monster High dolls. And me and my daughter picked up Spectra von der Geist, the newest one that's come out.
Nice.
So we managed to get her. But they had like 10 of every doll on the shelf, so they clearly had like a brand, like a whole shipment in. And like all the Jurassic Park stuff was stocked, but it's funny you should say that about the Street Fighter stuff because my store has like a section now, which has got like the Bandai products. Yeah, they've got Ban Presto and Kuribo, you know, the Japanese import stuff.
Yeah,
they've got a bunch of is it called Just Me Toys or Yumi Toys or something? They've got a bunch of those kind of things, and so they've got like this whole section now, which is like Dragon Ball Z and Street Fighter, Tekken. They've got like a whole section for it, which that's quite cool.
Mine haven't done that as well. They've kind of limited them, and they're kind of just where they are, you know. But yeah, it's all good. It's all good. It just wasn't a very interesting trip out to the toy shop. It was for my son. He picked up loads, but I was just kind of like, oh, guess I'll
Game. Sorry, did you see the news about Game?
No.
On this subject. So game stores officially will this sounds mental, will stop stocking games. They will no longer sell physical copies of games in game.
What? It's in the name.
Yeah, I know. So they've been on the high street presence since 2002, apparently. When I looked it up, and they're now officially no longer stocking games. You can pre-order games with them and go in store and pick them up, or you can pay $2.99 to have them delivered to your house. But you can't physically buy them in store anymore.
So what are they going
That's
to
after
send in
this year.
store then? Trading
In
cards?
store, it's going to be trading cards, board games, Legos, action figures. They're basically another Smiths now.
Interesting. What is?
But they're apparently they've got the Games Workshop license now, and they've got the full Dungeons and Dragons license from Hasbro, and they're doing a lot more tabletop. Apparently, because he said they're going to get my one's getting a gaming area where you can play like a game of Dungeons and Dragons, or they're going to have like gaming nights and stuff there.
Okay, that makes sense. And then it's games. It still works with the thing. But you know what? I think that's probably. I mean, I worked in gaming for a couple of years as a deputy manager. That's one of the Ryan and me both worked at Game like ships in the night. Like he left and I started, but we were in different stores. But it does make sense because with like the networks and all that kind of stuff where you can download games. Like the last physical game I actually went and purchased, I think I ended up getting from Argos or something anyway. Like I don't think of going to Game for my game.
I don't.
That makes sense. And I know, I mean, I'm not as big a gamer as I used to be, but you look at games like Fortnite and stuff like that, they're all done digitally and all the stuff is done through the stores, the network stores and stuff. That makes sense. But what's interesting about that is that like my game, the local game, closed and reopened as a pop-up franchise, whatever, in the sports soccer store.
Yeah.
So we have like a decent sized game, but it's within a sports soccer store. The kind of people that would want to play tabletop games and do the kind of things that you're talking about, I can't imagine would want to walk past all the kind of boots and football kits and everything to then go and sit and play in front of people trying on trainers.
Has your game got that LAN party area?
The lamp part?
LAN party area. So like they've got like gaming stations, like computers set up in like an area of the store. So like I think it's going to be stores that have got these, because my store's got that, where they have like a LAN party, LAN parties, like local servers. Yeah, so like the play games locally, and like you and six mates can turn up and rent the area out for a few hours, things like that. So I think it's going to be I think basically the tabletop thing will take place in there. I think they're going to get rid of the gaming stations and turn it into like a big tabletop area. So it won't be every store. Sorry, it won't be every store.
I mean, if they're clever about it, they really could corner the market and do some damage to some other stores here, because like the main high street stores, I mean, you have Games Workshop, but they're very niche, and that you don't get many people kind of go into there unless they're a part of it, because walking into one is very kind of, even for me, is like when I was doing a lot of my figure customs and stuff, and I used to do all the Games Workshop stuff, but I'd go in there for certain paints or certain customizing products and stuff, and feel very like I was intruding on someone's space.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like one of them old bars where you walk in and everyone looks like, it's kind of like, yeah, no, I know, I'm not here to play. Like, you guys crack on. Like, I'm just going to pick up this little pot of paint. Like, I know what I'm doing with it. It's fine. But if Game do it, it could be like a bit more of a trendy way of getting people into those things, if that makes sense.
I think that's the idea. Yeah.
That's interesting. That is interesting. I think it could turn out quite well.
I mean, I'm intrigued to see where they go with it, because there's all them new shops. Have you got any? I know they're all up north. I'm not sure if you guys have gone down south yet. They're called Geek Retreats.
Yeah, they're franchises. I actually looked at buying one at one point.
I had the idea for that years ago, and I wanted to go into to do it, and never did. And then they suddenly popped up, and I was like, "You mother!"
Oh, really?
I wanted to have I wanted a coffee house that sold comic books and had an area in the back to play games. That's what I wanted, which is very much what Geek Retreat is now.
Pretty much what they do, isn't it? We had in our local town, we had an independent comic book store for a while, and then that closed down. It was really good as well. It's called Red Sun, I think it was. And they stocked a whole bunch of like Diamond Select toys. Like, they had all the action figure stuff, but they had like shelves of the Select figures. It was just like, it was like better than a Forbidden Planets like offering of Selects, if that makes sense. And so they had all of that, and then they had like comic books. They had like long boxes of back issues and stuff. It was very much like the owners had been to the American style comic book stores and kind of mimicked it, and it did really well for a while. They had like appearances, like Warwick Davis came down there at one point and stuff like that, and then out of nowhere it just closed, like it just shut down. And we were like, oh, this is a real shame. But then it turns out that the rental space was too expensive for what they were actually turning over. And then we had another comic book store open up, and it did all right for a little while, but it was a bit out of the way, so it wasn't doing as well as it could have. And then that closed down, and then out of the ashes rose this Geek Retreat. And I got emails about wanting to whether I wanted to take on the franchise for this particular area, but it worked out about 15 grand. And I was like, you know what, I'm not into tabletop games enough, and I don't think comic books will sell enough. Having watched the two fail before, there isn't enough for me to invest in it. My heart wouldn't have been completely in it. But it's still doing all right. It's still going from strength to strength.
Yeah, my local comic book store. I'm always scared that he's going to vanish because I go there all the time. I'm always frightened that he's just going to vanish and I've got to go back to Forbidden Planet, which I hate. But no, they seem to be going. Comic books seem to be getting popular again. They're going from like strength to strength at the minute. I think the new generation have kind of picked up on comic books now because when he first opened, I could go in on a Wednesday and pick whatever I wanted off the shelf because I was the only booker in there. And then recently I went in and I'm like, have you got that new Elvira coming? He's like, no. I'm like, that's gone. I'm like, who else reads Elvira but me? Like, who are you serving in here? So I've got to pre-order my comics now. It's insane.
Wow. But yeah, that's cool. That is cool. So let's talk San Diego Comic-Con. Let's. You got something else? Go on. What? Go on.
Did you see that Sony announced the live-action Street Fighter as well for 2026?
No.
So Sony and Legendary have officially revealed that the live-action Street Fighter movie is returning.
Yes, I did see this. See it.
Capcom are involved. They've got a major involvement in story telling and things like that. So they're going to be involved in writing it.
Yeah.
It's officially going to be coming to cinemas on March 20th, 2026. There's no announcement of who's going to be in it yet. But it's looking positive with the fact that Capcom is involved in like the adaptation of it.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be a bit like the last one, should we say? But I think I like the last one. I've got a soft spot for it.
It's a guilty pleasure. I enjoyed it. I think with the popularity of like Cobra Kai and shows like that, it makes sense to kind of jump on the back of that. And I just think you've got things like the new or the new old Marvel versus Capcom game coming out, haven't you? With all the old retro games, it's there. It's in the kind of, you know, even down to the extent of Jada Toys bringing out the Street Fighter toys and them kind of blowing up. Like it makes sense for them to kind of look at this. And we were saying, weren't we? Right, even if they did it as like an anime or like one of these Netflix kind of animation adaptations, but if they're doing a live action movie, that's pretty cool. That is pretty cool.
I'm excited for that. And speaking about Cobra Kai as well, we're going to do a Geek Week Plus in a week at some point, aren't we? And talk all things Cobra Kai because the new season's out very, very soon.
Yes, the new series.
We had that little picture from I can never remember his name. The guy who plays Daniel LaRusso. He put a little picture out, and he did confirm Cobra Kai and the new movie filmed back to back. He said, they had all the cast together. So I'm assuming then, because they said a long time ago that the new film was nothing to do with Cobra Kai. Yeah. So I'm now wondering whether this Cobra Kai season on Netflix is going to end on a massive cliffhanger, and it's going to be continued in the movie theaters, and the movie theater will be like the final conclusion. It'll almost be like Karate Kid, Cobra Kai, the movie kind of thing.
See, I've got a new theory about this. I was reading my articles. I think Cobra Kai is going to end at the end of this next season. That they're going to come to a definitive end point with the film. They're not necessarily. It's not going to be one of these like at the end. It's kind of like 4 years later, and it shows them all like married and all that. It will come to a kind of the story will come to a close. But obviously, Daniel LaRusso's kicking around with his kids, and there's the other people, there's the love interests and all this kind of stuff. And I think that the new Karate Kid movie is going to be following what happens to Daniel LaRusso following on from Cobra Kai. So whether there's something he has to do or someone he is involved with or something like that he then has to go and
Well,
kind of continues his
if
story.
you remember, to add to that, then, if you remember in Cobra Kai, the story of Shrimpo Sensei.
Yeah.
Strong wind, strong sake. And he ended up off the coast of China, didn't he?
Yes.
And then he came back to Japan with a wife and kids and all that, and the secret of Miyagi-Do.
Yeah.
So, what if Daniel LaRusso goes to China to try and find more about Miyagi-Do ancestry or the method of Miyagi-Do from China, and that's how he bumps into Jackie Chan.
See, I've never seen the Jackie Chan film. I just never watched it.
The Jackie Chan film was set in Beijing, and it was based on kung fu rather than karate. It's kung fu.
Is Miyagi-Do mentioned? Is
No.
Miyagi?
None of the Karate Kid stuff at all is mentioned. It was called the Karate Kid, but it was its own thing. It was its own story, which I liked. It was a reinvention rather than a retelling.
Okay, so Jackie Chan plays a Mr. Miyagi type character.
Yeah.
But no mention. It's no.
Yeah, so Jackie Chan in the film has lost his wife and his kid in a car crash, and then he's kind of lived a bit of a sheltered existence since. He doesn't really, and then he sees Jaden getting picked on by the Chinese kids, for being the foreigner in the country and being a bit of a geek and stuff, and they kick 10 bells out of him. And Jackie Chan stops him. And then it's the same sort of Karate Kid style story. Okay,
here's my theory. I'm going to call it now. Daniel LaRusso, at the end of Cobra Kai, Daniel LaRusso is lost. There's some sort of directional loss, like, because obviously when we saw it, when it started, he had kind of moved on. He was selling cars. He had his life together, wife, kids, all that kind of stuff. And through the course of Cobra Kai, he's now just back into karate all the time. It's like that's his life. So the Cobra Kai kind of story finishes, and he's very much at a loss, whether he's lost something or someone or whatever, but he needs some kind of direction, some kind of mentorship, some kind of refocusing. Hence why we then have the Cobra Kai cast, because it starts where that kind of series finished. He then has Jackie Chan, who then becomes essentially the Mr. Miyagi character to Daniel LaRusso for his next step, because then it would tie the Jackie Chan film in with the other Cobra Kai's and the story all the way back to the 80s. So we would then see this Daniel LaRusso story go all the way from the 80s all the way up to the Jackie Chan era. And then if you wanted a little bit of a backstory on Jackie Chan, you can then go and watch the other Karate Kid film, kind of get a backstory there. And if you want to see the bridge between the movies and this movie, you watch Cobra Kai. So it kind of brings it all together. So that's my theory. Jackie Chan is going to be his new Mr. Miyagi, because he needs that. He needs that sensei. He can't be the main, because at the moment he's top of the tree, isn't he? He's like the main guy. He needs that older character, that mentor. So that's going to be my theory. I'm cool. Well hyped. I love it.
We'll do a full episode on it because I could talk about it all day. But there's so many things I want to talk about. So we'll do a Geek Week plus sometime.
The trailer drops at the beginning of the week. So
tomorrow it drops tomorrow.
Monday, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, so we'll do one either Monday night or Tuesday night. We'll do a Karate Kid Cobra Kai Geek Week plus. Cool. Okay, right. So let's go on to San Diego Comic-Con, because that's what we're obviously here to talk about. But there's been quite a few reveals. There's been a lot talked about, hasn't there?
Oh yeah, hell of a lot. We've had McFarlane drop things, Super 7, NECA, Hasbro. There's been a bit of everything. Higher Toys, I think, dropped something. Funko.
Yeah,
it's been a mental couple of days. It really has, with all the announcements. Have you caught many of them?
Hang on 2 seconds. I'm just having a look. That's cool. I've a few here and there. Like, depends really what because I mean, some of the brands and some of the brands I do follow a bit closer, so I do see the announcements pop up, and then a couple of them I do have to kind of hunt for. Before we talk about toys, though, one thing I did notice, or I did see the article on, is that Marvel's going to be present with their slate. So obviously they've not been there a couple of years, is it? They've not really made so the fact that they're going to be there with their information, and they're going to be kind of revealing stuff. We're starting to see things like screenshots from Agatha and all that kind of stuff. So there's going to be a couple of trailers drop in throughout Sunday at San Diego Comic-Con, without a doubt.
Yeah, and there's going to be some big drops this year at Comic-Con, I think. some big ones. It's the first. I know there was a Comic Con. There's been a Comic Con for the last couple of years, but this one feels like the old because San Diego Comic Con came back, didn't it, after COVID? But it never hit the heights that it had before. No. This year feels like it's building up again to something like a lot of companies are involved this year.
Yeah, it feels like the biggest one we've had since COVID. I think a lot 100%. Of the conventions were hit that way. That after obviously COVID, a lot of things went digital. Marvel Legends is a prime example that they went from revealing loads of stuff at San Diego Comic Con to then doing the Hasbro Pulse live streams and stuff. So a lot of companies kind of went that way. I know a lot of the other companies do live stream announcements and stuff as well. But this one definitely feels this San Diego Comic Con definitely feels like a switch in the right direction.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
But one of my favorite announcements so far, I can't lie. One of my favorite announcements is this weird little thing. So Hasbro announced the G.I. Joe figure. And look at this little weirdo. I love him. The Cobra Kai commander as a cobra with an actual cobra.
Yeah, it's the Cobra Kai. Cobra Kai. It's a weird one. It's
cool, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's definitely cool. It's
Once-man cobra. I just like the weird little cobra monster thing is with him. It's awesome.
I'm not down enough with my Joes to know, but is that supposed to be like a pet, or is that supposed to be him, or?
Hey, no idea. No idea what that's even based on. I don't know anything about G.I. Joe. I'm rubbish.
So the
photos they've taken are pretty cool. He turned into a literal cobra.
Yeah, literally.
Look at it.
It looks like something from a really bad 80s B movie monster flick.
It really does.
Yeah. But yeah, I think, Beth said there, like, he may sell out fast. I think you're right. I think a lot of people will pick that one up.
If that's the level that Hasbro are working at for this year, I'm on board.
Yeah, 100%.
You won me back if that's where you're going with it, because it's just weird.
They've had quite a few good announcements, Hasbro, though. Let's be fair.
Yeah, we'll get there. Before that, though, I could not. Super 7 started doing the reaction figures, and they started doing the Halloween kids the other year.
Yep.
Well, they've just got a hell of a lot weirder. Snoopy Kid.
What is that?
I don't know. I think it's meant to be one of those like Ben Cooper style ones, like what Necker's done. I think it's meant to be the same sort of thing. And I think that's meant to be a kid wearing the mask with the T-shirt that matches the mask, like the Draculas and the Frankensteins. But that one's Snoopy.
Halloween Kids does feel like a little bit of a rip-off of...
Oh, it's a complete rip-off.
That's...
Even comes with a little candy cane pail.
Snoopy, it does say Snoopy costume.
Yeah. So it just looks so odd. It just looks so weird.
I just don't know who that's aimed at. Like, die-hard Snoopy fans, like, okay, I get it. That's a really strange one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Then I couldn't make any detail of this one, but basically, shown via Variety, Super 7 are planning to host 2 pop-up events and several exclusive product launches at San Diego Comic Con for both Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Dungeons and Dragons. They plan on celebrating the 50th anniversary of D&D with an immersive space in San Diego store. With the hosts will be Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Mikey's Pizza pop-up event. So they're doing something with Dungeons and Dragons and the Turtles, and they're crossing them over, and they're going to make merchandise. And this is the image that they dropped for it.
It's a weird one.
So okay, that again, they make it sound like it's a crossover event, but I'm not sure. It's weird. But either way, they're going to be doing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Dungeons and Dragons at San Diego Comic Con. More to follow as that one unfolds.
One thing I would say about that, just looking at it, is the Super 7 logo was present on both sides of that. So it was on the Turtles one and it was on the D&D one. So yeah, that wasn't a solid single logo. That was the 2 logos next to each other. But yeah, it's a weird...
I think the press release has been written weird. It's been written a bit odd.
Yeah, it's a weird crossover.
Loyal subjects, again, sticking with the Turtles news. We've got some glow-in-the-dark Turtles coming out.
Love a bit of Loyal subjects. They're very cool. Yeah, these aren't my favorites. Like, I don't know. I mean, one thing I will say about product at the moment is that back in the day, and I'm talking kind of like 2018-ish, you had, and like 2018 and before that, you had your SDCC exclusives, and they were exclusives. Like, you know, again, I was heavily collecting Marvel Legends at that time, and there were certain SDCC exclusives that were near to impossible to get because unless you were there to pick it up, there was no chance in hell of picking it up because it wasn't like it is now where you get it imported and all that kind of stuff. So it does feel a little bit more like now there are so many products being dropped for SDCC that these might actually remain exclusives.
Yeah, hopefully. Now, who doesn't want a creature from the Black Lagoon on a bike?
Is this like, this looks like a McDonald's toy?
It does, doesn't it? I think this is because they basically a while back they did like some pullback cars, like old school style pullback cars, but they had like the Batmobile and Harley Quinn driving like a clown car and things like that.
Yeah.
So this feels very much in the same thing. I imagine you're going to pull that back and it's going to go whee and fly across your desk.
Yeah, this looks like a pullback. You can see from the little white bit underneath, like the underside.
Yeah. It looks like a pullback.
That's definitely a pullback. But
as soon as I saw that, I was like, "What is that? Who is that for? And why do I want it?"
Yeah, like the box looks a lot better than the figure. It looks very reminiscent of an 80s, early 90s figure where you had a really amazing in proportion box art and then a figure that doesn't really look anything like the thing on the box.
Yep. My favorite announcement though from San Diego Comic-Con, because I'm sort of like going through them all, cherry picking the best ones out.
Yeah.
But this one, this is what Mattel Creations is for. Jimmy Buffett.
This my hat goes off to Mattel for doing this because this guy is obviously the guy from Jurassic World that you see running away holding onto his margaritas and became
Jimmy Buffett.
We became known as Margarita Guy for a long time, and then obviously they gave him a name, and it just became a really iconic part of the film for all the wrong reasons. To do a figure of him is what San Diego Comic-Con exclusives are all about. Like it's just fantastic. It's just brilliant. It really, and the fact that he comes in a margarita glass, it's a nice display box. Like you wouldn't need to get him out of the box. It's just a brilliant figure. It's a brilliant figure.
Whoever thought of the idea of making a Jimmy Buffett action figure from that film is just that's amazing. I love it so much. The fact that the box is a cup, like a margarita cup kind of thing.
Yeah.
And everything. It's just so well thought out. Look at that.
And any fan of Jurassic Park, Jurassic World that collects the figures, that collects the line, this would need to be in your collection. Like I can't imagine anyone that is a fan of the franchises not wanting that figure on their collection if they collect the action figures.
Yep. I'm really surprised that Margaritaville in Florida hasn't actually had a crossover yet with Jurassic Park. So obviously Universal owns both of them. So I'm surprised they've never done a crossover.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Loyal Subjects have put out a lot of turtle stuff, by the way. Not all of them are the best, to be honest.
No, some of them are quite good.
One of them that did catch my eye because it's the first, as far as I'm aware, I think it's the first time in the line for her. But we get in an action figure of Jennica.
Yes,
we get the picky. Jennica obviously being the female turtle from the comic books. Now we did have a female turtle called Venus back in the 90s, but she wasn't very well accepted. But Jennica has definitely been accepted a lot more.
Third movie or
that was the TV series, wasn't it? The Next Mutation.
And she was part of the crossover with Power Rangers, it just didn't make sense. It was just like I didn't like the boob-shaped shell and stuff. Like it was just kind of like no. But yeah, I mean, Loyal Subjects are smashing it when it comes to turtle stuff. Let's be honest, they really are knocking it out of the park and giving adult collectors everything that they wanted, and it needed to be done this way.
The fact that they're now going down the IDW route and doing all the comic book accurate stuff that's where it's at for me. So that's where I think Power Rangers with Hasbro should have stayed. When they started doing their stuff with the comic books, it started to get interesting, but then they just tailed off and it got silly. I wish they'd have stayed on it.
Yeah.
But Mattel started dropping their exclusives.
Yeah, some of these were good.
And we're getting a Street Sharks exclusive in the leather jacket.
Yeah.
They made that in the 90s, though, right? I remember in the 90s having one with a leather jacket, and I'm sure that's the figure we had back in the day. Or a variant of it.
I think you're right.
I'm sure I remember that as a kid. But yeah, we get like a leather jacketed version. He's got some accessories and shades and everything that can fit on him in there.
The fact they've not got Vin Diesel involved on the marketing of this. But it's even the boxes like this to me is San Diego Comic-Con, like the Jimmy figure, the Street Sharks figure, like they are making the boxes exclusive, which is it just shows off an exclusive figure. It's a different box, it looks good, you could buy it, you could display it in the box. That's how a SDCC exclusive should be. Yeah,
and we're getting a Monster High Galena doll. She's a new one that's to the line in like a superhero style costume, which is kind of weird for Monster High, but I get it. It looks fun. Then we're getting Mega Blocks are doing Monster High as well now. They're cashing in on the Monster High thing, and they're making little book. It's like a book basically. So when the kids are done playing with it, it folds up into a little book. I think that's quite cool.
That is cool.
The little place that all folds up.
Very reminiscent of what. Oh, don't go past Shawn Michaels yet. It's very reminiscent of what Lego are doing with their book style.
Harry Potter ones.
The Harry Potter ones. They did a couple of Disney ones as well. I'm sure of it. But yeah, of course we've got Shawn Michaels. Like this is a great figure.
It does look good. It's the one where he's basically flying across the arena for, I think it was WrestleMania or SummerSlam, one or the other.
Yeah.
Very iconic. There you go. I think it's WrestleMania. There you go. In the box as well.
WrestleMania 11 is that? No, 12.
12.
Yeah.
Wow. Very good.
Does it come with a bit of rope though? Because if it doesn't, they've missed the trick. They should have given us a bit of a proper in like an old 90s style where you get 2 suction cups and like you can stick it across your room and make them fly. But yeah, that's cool. That's cool. It's a cool figure. I never massively got into the adult wrestling figures. I had a lot of the figures as a kid, loved my wrestling figures, but I don't know, they just didn't. They've not pulled me in. There's a couple of Hulk Hogan's and Stings and stuff like that I was kind of like, oh, I kind of need them on my shelf. I saw the Hulk Hogan 3-pack actually at My Smith's. You know, the one with the old Hulk, new Hulk.
Mine's got him in the Hollywood Hulk Hogan as well.
Yeah, and it looked really good, and I was tempted, but the price was quite high for what it was.
Yeah, there's been a few of them. There's a John Cena box set.
Oh, is
yeah, you just can't ever see it though. That's no problem.
Every week.
Gotta get it in at some point.
Yeah.
As well, NECA have started dropping theirs, and they're doing a little superhero theme, which again, this is what San Diego is all about. So we're getting dinosaurs, but it's in his superhero outfit.
Now, this was in the show, wasn't it?
It was, yeah, it was in the show as well.
Because when I first saw it, I was like, I'd recognize that, and then I was like, well, do I?
Yeah, I'm sure he wore that in the show at some point. I'm sure he did.
I'm sure he did.
But not only did they drop that, so they dropped this one when he's like in his superhero suit. And if I just back out of here, oh no, I can't. I'll get rid of that one. Show you this one. But Alf as well. As they're doing the superhero Alf.
Yes, I did see this one. Oh, he's dropped out completely. What? He pushed the wrong button. Totally pressed the wrong button. While SuperSorrell was coming back here, and Bethany Beth said they need the rest of the family. You know what? Dinosaurs is probably a line that I would pick up for my collection if they did the whole family. I would definitely. There he is. There he is.
Studio instead of share.
That.
But here we go. Try again. There we go. There's Alf. Superhero Alf.
Yep.
What was that Bethany was saying? We need the rest of the family.
Yeah, I was just saying that with the dinosaurs, like I would definitely pick them up as a collection to have the family, like just on a shelf, just the 5 of them. It was 5, wasn't it? Yeah, it's one of them shows that it was so iconic. It would be cool. And I remember the toys back in the day, and the actual toys weren't that bad. They were quite well because of the way that the design of the dinosaurs was. Like, I remember the baby, not the mama figure, and it was kind of sat down with its arms out, and the tail and the legs kind of kept it sat upright. But it was a sizable figure, and yeah, I think if they did modern versions of those, a lot of collectors would pick them up to put on their shelf.
Yeah, 100%. I'm surprised. I'm really surprised one of the companies hasn't re-released those old vinyl ones yet. Someone needs to, because they were really popular. They go for a friggin' pretty penny on the aftermarket nowadays.
Do they?
Oh yeah.
I had about 6 of the baby, just because they were. It was like, I had loads of them at one point.
I had the baby and I had the dad, but I'd never had any of the characters. But my friend had all of them, and I was always really jealous.
I think I didn't have the mum, and I don't think I had the sister. I'm sure I had the brother.
But of course, you had the cool brother with the roller skates, because he had roller skates on, didn't he? I think, or skateboard.
Yes, I did have that one. I did have that one.
Yeah. Everyone had that one. It was amazing.
I just had loads. It was one of them ones that because it was popular and people like family members and friends and that knew that I liked it. Baby Sinclair, thank you very much, Shelley. I couldn't remember the name. Baby Sinclair. But because the baby was so iconic to the show, it was one of them ones that if my parents said, "Oh, he likes that dinosaur show," that was the figure that people picked up. So I did have like a handful of them, and it was like, "Oh yeah, thanks so much. I really wanted this." Throw it in the pile with the other 7. But yeah, I should have held on to them.
Not the mama.
Not the mama.
And then the kind of last big one. You was right.
I said the end of the show was just heartbreaking.
It was
just heartbreaking.
The kind of last one to talk about was, this is kind of the best for last, isn't it?
This one. So, Death's Head. This is one that people have been calling out for as long as I remember. Because they gave us Death's Head 2 a few years back. But the original Death's Head. Now, if my memory serves me correctly, originally he was a Transformers villain that then... jumped over into Marvel. Marvel Comics kept the rights to him and then basically turned him into a space villain, and he showed up in a few comics and that was it. And then I think he had his own run of comics at one point, but when he became a Marvel villain, he wasn't a Transformer. There we go. Here we go. John Hood in the chat said, as a fan of Marvel UK's The Transformer comic and Doctor Who magazine, I hope to get Death's Head. How did he turn up in Doctor Who magazine? I didn't know that. I knew he was part of the Transformer comic, but I didn't know what his tie is to Doctor Who. I didn't know that. Do you know how he's tied into Doctor Who?
I have no clue. I don't know this is.
What I do like though is I like that again packaging. This is a SDCC exclusive looking packaging because this is like a trading card sort of setup that looks really cool, but it will tie in with the other Marvel Legend boxes that we're getting. We saw with the Strange Tales, the kind of new sort of rectangular size boxes, but it looks like a trading card, doesn't it?
Looks weird, and that's what I was going to say to you. That new box is odd. It's very different. I'm wondering whether this is the new style of packaging they're going to use for one-off characters. Because he's not a part of he's not a part of any line, or as far as we're aware of. We don't know of any other figures coming out in this packaging so far. So I mean,
one-off, isn't it? But the actual kind of box design is very similar to the new style of packaging that they're using, isn't it? There's just it's just cover art on the top. But I just assume that they kind of made it look like a trading card because he is kind of a bit of a one-off character, and they're not. It's not like by getting him, there's loads of really popular characters that people are now going to go, oh, we're going to get X, Y, and Z. But yeah, people were pleased about this one, and they kept it quiet. They really did. There was no hint towards him coming out.
No leak or anything, which is surprising.
No. But I think with Marvel Legends, we're kind of reaching that stage now where they're either deep diving, doing like real deep cuts on characters, or reissuing characters they've done previously. They're kind of at that, that kind of turnaround. Oh, there we go. John Hood with the information. Death's Head tried to kill the 7th Doctor in the comic strip.
Interesting.
I did not know this. So Death's Head is going to tick the boxes for Doctor Who fans, going to tick the boxes for Transformer fans, and going to tick the boxes for Marvel comic fans. So yeah, there's quite a few fans that are going to be potentially chasing after him. But I think he'll sell out. I think he'll be one that sells out because they did mention that he was available at SDCC, but then will be available via fan streams if and when the time comes later down the line. So
they'll have him online. They'll have him online by end of Comic-Con season.
I think he'll sell. I think he'll sell out.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So that was kind of all the announcements we've had so far for San Diego, but that's not the only toy news we've had this week because I want to drop some other stuff because it's fun. There's some fun stuff.
Yeah, we got.
I want to talk about. And you know what? Nobody talks about this stuff. That's why I want to talk about it. No other toy show on the planet talks about this stuff. So
there we go. Exclusive.
So are you ready to return to the world of Mini Brands Disney Store? Because they've got another series coming.
You know what? My Mini Brands short was massively popular when I got hold of them earlier, like a day early or whatever. I just think it's one of them things that the potential's really there, but I don't know. I don't really know who these are aimed at. Like whether they're aimed at collectors, yeah, like kidults, or whether they're aimed at kids. Like it's. But there are a few in this new series that I 100% need to get my hands on. Yeah,
there's quite a few in there, like the Jack Skeleton ones. There's Sally in there.
Yep.
Yeah, they look pretty cool.
The Venom, and the Jack and the Sally to me stood out as ones I definitely want.
Yeah, they've got books in this one as well because obviously they've got Mini Brands books now.
Yeah.
So there's a few books thrown in there, and there's VHS as well. Like there's Beauty and the Beast VHS there.
Yeah,
and stuff like that. So it's a very cool little series, is that? And there's board games and stuff like this is good as well.
There's a couple like that. Darth Vader isn't new, is it?
No, some of them are re-releases.
Yeah, the Woody's a re-release. Both of those Darth Vaders are re-releases actually.
Because these are great as well for photography and like stuff like that, isn't it? That's just to have.
Oh yeah.
For your action figures. That's why I like Mini Brands the best.
I hate the bags though. Even though in that one it's an Avengers bag, which is pretty cool. I hate the bags. When me and my kids were opening them up, if one of the 5 sections had the paper bag in it, I was like, well, that's a waste of money. So, don't want it. Don't need that. But yeah, I'll probably pick those up.
Well, mate, if you like that, you're gonna love this one then. Because not only are they giving us Disney Star, but Mini Brands are also giving us Netflix action figures.
Wow.
So Netflix Series 1 is coming out, and it will give us wonderful things from Stranger Things, Rebel Moon, Squid Games, Emily in Paris, don't know what that is, Cobra Kai, Bridgerton, and The Witcher. So
that we have a Diamond Select Cobra Kai figure.
It is. If we scroll down, the Bandai figures and Diamond Select figures that they've used here to do that with. It's quite good. It's all based on real merch, which is quite cool.
What's that gold mask? What's that from?
I have no clue.
Okay, so let's have a look. So right, the Demigorgon. Yep, is that Eddie?
That's an Eddie, a mini Eddie.
You've got Eddie. You've got a Demigorgon. Who's the other one from Stranger Things?
That's Hopper in his like in that blue jumpsuit outfit thing that he had on. Cool. Then you've got the. Sorry, go on.
No, go on.
Like I said, then you've got the Cobra Kai, Daniel LaRusso and Johnny Lawrence from the Diamond Select series. You've got some Squid Games in there as well. You got the girl and stuff.
What are the panettone and the pizza?
I don't know. But either way, again, it's just these are also. Well, I'm guessing that's Emily from Paris. It says on the little bag, isn't it? Emily from Paris. Right. But yeah, either way, I just sort of saw all these things and thought these are really cool little accessories and bits to have. It's like the Eddie's guitar as well as one of them, which is quite cool.
Do you know what? This one excites me more than the Disney one, just because it's so random.
Oh, mate, you say that now. You say that now. We're not done yet.
There's
in
another.
the words in the words of Scream. Wait, there's more.
But wait, there's more.
So Miniverse or Make It Verse, same company, are doing a Make It Mini Lord of the Rings set.
Wow.
Where you'll become a Smith of Middle Earth and forge your own swords with mini brands.
Wow.
You actually make your own sword, and you get these little capsules to stand them on. And you'll make, look at that, look, you pour it into the mold and it goes hard and everything.
Wow.
How cool is that? You're basically going to smith your own swords.
That's pretty cool.
Look at all the little, I love all the little, like the anvil and everything. That's just such cool accessories. You even get the little tiny hammers and that. They're perfect for action figure stuff.
Yeah.
Absolutely perfect.
I've seen these Miniverse things because you get like little fish tanks and little like
you make things with these ones.
Yeah, my kids are like, oh, can we get those? And they're like about 10-15 quid.
Yeah. Lynn, my wife, did the Willy Wonka one, and she also did the Elf one at Christmas, and they did really well on her TikTok.
Oh, okay, cool.
But yeah, I saw that, and I was like, they're cool. But again, mate, they're deep diving and they're giving us some really cool stuff because there's another one.
What?
I know.
What?
And this one, as a big Harry Potter nerd, this one gets me excited as well.
Of course.
So not only can you smith swords, you can now make potions like Snape and forge your own potions.
Wow.
So you basically make all the potions from the television, from the films, like the like Liquid Luck and Polyjuice Potion and all that good stuff.
Wow. Yeah, okay.
These mini potions.
These are pretty cool. These are pretty cool. I think the one danger is because they're kind of like a blind bag-esque kind of figure, product. At kind of Bethany Beth said $15.99. So at $15.99, you buy two and you get a double. It's a £30 potion. Do you know what I mean? Like the price will start adding up very quickly.
But do you know what? Smiths sell out of them all the time.
Oh, of course. Yeah. They're gonna fly off the shelves. I mean, Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, they are two franchises that have very die-hard fan bases.
Yep.
That you put something out with one of those names on it, certain fans need to have them on their shelves. Like, so yeah, those mini potions, if I was a massive Harry Potter fan, 100% would be all over those, because to have them all lined up would be a cool little display.
Yeah,
yourself. That's cool.
Yeah, so my wife is massively into them. She saw them ones. She sent me them to talk about on the Geek Week. She sent me them over to talk about. So she's stupidly hyped for them, and they do look fun. To be fair, like even the Lord of the Rings and the Harry Potter ones are ones that I would pick up.
Yeah, I'll definitely pick up one of the Lord of the Rings ones just to see the sword forging, because if it's quite enjoyable to do, then there's that kind of addictiveness of, well, I need to do one of the others. So it's I'll 100% pick that up. I can't imagine it's going to be like hot metal. Like it's gonna be, there'll be too many.
No, I doubt it. Yeah, they usually like liquid resin and things like that, because I did some before. They were quite cool. But mate, I wish that was like the end of the amazingness. But have you noticed that Barbie has been doing the mini Barbies now, the mini Barbie Land?
Yep.
Well, Mattel are treating us to a little bit of Ken loving, because I'm just Ken and we need his Ken Kingdom. So for San Diego Comic Con, this isn't exclusive for San Diego, you can get Ken's Dream House.
Amazing.
And it is the Barbie movie Ken as well that's in that one.
That is going to fly.
It is, isn't it?
That is.
I saw that. Look, it's got the big Ken logo on the box and everything. I saw that. I was like, I want that. I actually want that.
That is going to be, that's an absolute banger for Mattel. They've knocked it out of the park with that one, because it will just sell. The film is so popular, it will just sell.
And Polly Pockets have been coming back, and they gave us a Friends one and stuff like that.
Yeah.
well, of course, they're going to cash in on the world of Harry Potter. So, a Harry Potter official Polly Pocket is coming out this year, and it will give us quite a lot actually in the first one. So, you're going to get all three of the main kids: Ron, Hermione, and Harry, and then you're going to get Professor McGonagall and Dumbledore, along with the train and the Sorting Hat. It's the Great Hall scene from the first film.
Yep.
And they've kind of already said if this sells, this is based on film 1, and they will continue to make them if they sell. So it's a case of if you want to see this in the future.
The Sorting Hat actually picks the.
Yeah.
Wow! Look at that.
Yeah. It's cool, isn't it?
Actually, does all the stuff that it's supposed to do. That's wicked. That is wicked. Polly Pockets and Mighty Max were brilliant toys to have that kind of pocket toy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it'd be good to see them come back.
Well, Mighty Max and Polly Pockets were made by the same people, weren't they? They were just the boy and the girl equivalent.
I don't know. I always assumed that they were like rival brands, but it would make.
I assumed it was the same company, and they're like one was for girls, one was for boys, basically, because it was like that back then, wasn't it? Toys were boys and girls.
But there was a different, like the Mighty Max figures were much more, not all more detailed, or there was something different about those to the Polly Pockets, like when you stood them next to each other.
Yeah.
So I was just assumed that someone was cashing in on a good idea. Yeah,
and tons of advent calendars have started appearing online. Like we're starting to see what advent calendars we're going to get for this year. There is a ton of Harry Potter ones that are brand new. A lot of companies are now cashing in on them. So like before, we just kind of like Funko kind of started the craze off. Then Lego jumped in on it.
Yeah.
But now we're starting to see other companies chime in. So like as Zuru are going to have their own like mini brands one and things like that. This year there's a bunch of Harry Potter ones from Spin Master. We're even getting a Treehouse of Horrors Simpsons one this year.
Oh wow,
which is quite cool.
Mattel did the Jurassic Park one last year before.
Yeah,
so it'd be interesting to see if they do another one.
Yeah, definitely. And then the last piece of thing that's on my list for talking about this week, just because it is technically toy news. We were on about a week ago that Monster High was going to cross. They're in talks of crossing over with Wednesday.
Yep.
All that's been scrapped. Universal Monsters have actually bought the franchise back, so Mattel will still be the license holder and they'll still make the toys, but the story and the new movie that they're making is actually going to be made by Universal, the monster company, so Universal itself. And they are now officially canon. So basically, she is Dracula, is the daughter of Dracula, Frankie is the daughter of Frankenstein. It's officially canon now that they have children. So apparently it's going to be all part of the Dark Universe, which was announced for Universal. So Monster High will come to the parks in some form or another with the Dark Universe expansion for Universal Studios, and a movie's in the works.
Are they going to keep them cute, or are they going to make them dark?
I hope they give them a little makeover and put them back to how they were in the 90s. The original Monster High dolls were a lot different to the ones now. The ones now are a bit more
massively different,
modern and all inclusive and all that, which is cool. But yeah, the ones back in the day were meant to be. She looked like Frankenstein looked like Frankenstein. That was the whole point. She had stitches it was like she was sewn together from different bits, which is what she's meant to be.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm hoping they do go back to that and goth them up a little bit more to what they are now.
Yeah. Because I think movie-wise and canon-wise, the opportunity is there for both ways. If they make it quite kind of, not cute's the wrong word, but make it more kind of Disney-fied, kids will buy into it because, look at things like zombies and stuff like that. Like the kids enjoy that. But if they make it dark, there's some really good storytelling there.
The dolls fly off the shelf, but the thing is, the ones that they make, like the crossover ones with Annabelle and stuff, sell a lot more. I think it's so that they can have an opportunity to make more. Like, I think there's going to be a Megan one before long, and probably a Abigail, I think, is definitely going to be in the works. So I think it gives Universal more of an opportunity to do the crossover stuff.
Yeah. No, I think it's a good opportunity. I do think it's a good opportunity. I like any opportunity to widen a universe on something. So I think, you know, if they make them, I'd like to see them go a bit darker than sort of like a bit softer. I think that there's a lot of them. Like, yeah,
because the two movies that they made for Monster High were they didn't work. They're basically like they tried to rip off Zombies and Descendants. Basically, they massively tried to rip off what Disney's doing, and it didn't work for them.
No, and the thing for kids as well, and that's what the audience was for these particular movies. Like with kids, like Descendants, the concept of here's your Disney villain, and this is their child that you've never heard of before, but they're living their best life, and this is the universe that they're in. And kids bought into that, and they loved it. But because kids bought into it so much, you do Monster High, people are just like, well, look, they're trying to do Descendants with monsters, and it just people don't get behind it. Despite how good a film or a storyline might be, the kids just don't get into it because it's a copy.
You know? Yeah.
So no,
it's interesting to see what they do with it.
Like I said, I would like to see him go dark. I'd like to see him go dark with it.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah.
One thing, it's terrible. One thing as well that I'm excited about, because obviously I'm going back to Universal obviously in September.
Mm-hmm.
They announced
you never mentioned that once, mate.
They announced this week that Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, along with the DVD release, which is out now on DVD, go grab it. Along with the release, they're going to have a haunted house for Frozen Empire.
Oh, mate, that's awesome.
And the idea being that you are the new recruit, and the family have recruited you to be the next Ghostbuster, and you go through the haunted house, and basically Garaka, where it's called, is released, and you have to help the Ghostbusters put him back in his little ball.
That's going to be awesome. That is going to be absolutely incredible.
And when I'm out there, Beetlejuice comes out. So I'm going to be in Universal for the release of Beetlejuice. So hopefully he'll be in the parks, and there'll be a bunch of merch I can grab.
Merch, I think, is a guaranteed. Guaranteed, it'll be everywhere, won't it? That'd be really cool if they did tie it in with the release of the film.
Yeah, because of the fact that it's a Universal owned product, and the Beetlejuice already meets in the parks on a daily basis. He wanders around quite a lot. He's always there. So the fact that they're making them in the movie, I think they'll make a big deal out of it in the parks because he's there anyway. So I think they'll do a release of some description.
That would be cool.
Exciting times.
That would be very cool.
They're also making a maze for the Quiet Place as well, which I'm not sure how that's going to work, but I'm excited to see what they do with it.
They just got to be really quiet.
That's what I mean. It's like, is it going to be a case of if people jump and scream, the monsters will jump out more? Is that going to be the concept, or?
Let's see.
Or it'll just be a very good storytelling experience. I don't know. It'll be cool.
Yeah. No, there'll just be like a trail of mud and sand, and you have to take your shoes off and just walk along that, and then come out the other end. That's it. It's just like, I don't say any words and stay on the mud. Like, that's what it is.
I'm there for the press launch because I'm there for the first week of September. So I've actually managed to get myself on the press launch for it. So basically, I'll get sent through a haunted house with a great big piece of equipment on me. And it'll basically film my reaction. You can't film the thing. You can't film the event. You're not allowed to. But they film your reaction. And you can basically put that online. So I'll look forward to doing that.
You got to do some proper.
Yeah. Well, I got a little bit overexcited in the email to them because obviously I'm a big Universal Monsters fan. With the Dark Universe expansion. They always have a Universal Monsters house. I was like, please, can we do something together? Can we collab? I sent them a little email and they kind of responded and added me to the press list. I'm like, yay! So I'm excited.
Exciting time in September. That's wicked.
Yeah, not long now.
Very cool. No, not at all. It's quite scary that we're already into July now.
July. Yeah.
So we are heading into that Halloween, Christmas, holiday season kind of period of like that side of the year, which doesn't quite seem real, to be fair.
It's crazy, isn't it?
No. I think the only thing I'm really excited for over the next few weeks is that my Ramen Racer is 100% on its way now. So it will be with me at some point. Nice. And I'm looking forward to it. I think over this side where I've got like my Infinity War Endgame set up, I think I'm going to move that and put like a display case up there for Ghost Rider and have the Racer alongside. So there's the Danny Ketch Ghost Rider bike coming out from Hasbro.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to display those two next to each other in the case. Yeah, really excited about them.
Did you build a custom Robbie Reyes, if I remember rightly?
Yeah, mate. Up there. That's him.
So you're all ready to go?
Yeah, mate. I'm 100% ready to go. I actually built mine out of a Power Ranger figure. So it's like a Hasbro sized figure. I don't know who the character is, but they were reduced to like £5 or something in TK Maxx. And so I grabbed one and I was like, this is perfect for Robbie Reyes.
RDJ. It was that guy who looked like Tommy but isn't Tommy, isn't it? It's that one.
Yeah, that's one.
I know you with the white hair.
Yeah, I kind of repainted the bits that weren't needed. Done the markings on him. RDJ Custom Creations sent me a really cool head that's all like UV lit and everything as well. So that's literally him there. So
looking forward to seeing what photography you make out of that then.
Oh, I can't wait. One other thing I did is I did a bit more painting this week. Done myself a little Brandon Lee crow. So that's my 1/6 scale crow. So I'm gonna have a little play around with that. But yeah, no, I'm really excited to see this racer. I think the only disappointing thing is that I know they've kind of shipped in kind of stages. So I know a lot of people out in the States have already had it, reviewed it, photographed it, and it feels like an old product because I've seen so much about people having it in hand, whereas it's not even hit the UK shores yet, and it already feels like an old product. But for me, it's a display piece rather than a kind of an exclusive piece. So I'm really excited about that. That would be really cool to actually finally put in the collection. And I think with that and the Danny Ketch bike coming from Hasbro, I can then kind of not close the door as such, but kind of I've got a complete, I've got my Johnny, I've got like a Mezco version and the Legends version. I've got the Nicolas Cage version. I'll have the Robbie Reyes with the Hell Charger, and I'll have the Danny Ketch, and then I can kind of go.
No, you can only close the door when you've got the Goblin Queen and the Son of Satan to stand with them.
I've got the Goblin Queen.
The figures they promised out we would never see again, and we saw both within 6 months.
Did I keep the Goblin Queen? I'm sure I've got the Goblin Queen somewhere. I might have to get Damien then just to put him there.
It's the figures that we're told we would never see again, and we did we saw them within 6 months.
Do you think Marvel are going to have a HasLab announcement this year?
Yeah, San Diego Comic Con.
It'll either be that or it'll be like towards it. No, because the last one we had from them was the Hell Charger, which was October, wasn't it? Because it all tied in with Halloween. I think the campaign ended on
started
Halloween.
it, but they started announcing it at San Diego, didn't they? Because the idea was if you bought into it on the San Diego Comic Con weekend, you got the exclusive Robbie Reyes or something. There was like an exclusive Robbie Reyes originally, wasn't there?
You're right. Yeah.
It started about now and it finished in October. They had like quite a long period. It still didn't hit it.
So yeah, usually it's about 40 days, 45 days. Yeah. So that's a month and a half. So August, September, October. Yeah. So we're any day now. They should make an announcement. And we've had all the other. Oh no, we've got the Ghostbuster one to come as well.
Yeah. So one. I reckon it'll be all part of the Hasbro panel. I reckon, and all this kind of stuff will all come out at San Diego.
Yeah. Okay.
We already know they're all there. They're all there again.
Yeah. That is very interesting. I can't wait to see that one.
I also think we're going to get the name of the Karate Kid movie at Comic Con because they're having a Cobra Kai panel, obviously, because it comes out around that time. Same with Deadpool and everything. So there's going to be a lot of media presence this year, but I reckon they're going to announce the name of the movie at the Comic Con as like a reveal.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. I don't know. Sounds a bit contradictory saying it, but there's not as many sniffs around stuff that we don't know about from other companies. Like there's no kind of film in the works that we're kind of anticipating popping up that might pop up at San Diego Comic Con. Usually there's a couple of things that kind of come out of nowhere. But yeah.
No, you never know. Never say never.
No, never say never. It's not long to wait. At the end of the day, it isn't long to wait.
20 days.
We've got Venom coming out as well a little bit later in the year. I wonder whether there'll be anything from that at San Diego Comic Con.
Craven as well. Or is Craven been pushed back to next year now?
I don't know what the date.
Craven went to come out first, wasn't it? But it's been pushed back. I know it got pushed back. I can't remember when it got pushed back.
I think if I think the dates were swapped. For some reason in my head, I've got it that the dates were swapped, and so Venom comes out now, and Craven comes out when Venom was supposed to come out, or something along them lines.
Yeah, the 13th of December for Craven.
Okay. So yeah, they could potentially give us another trailer or something, because we haven't really had much for that, have we?
Craven gave us a trailer a while ago.
Oh,
A long time ago.
Yeah.
And then we've heard nothing since.
I couldn't tell you what happens in the trailer.
No, I couldn't. I remember there was like a fight in the jungle. That's the only thing I remember.
I know he was kind of enhanced and had the powers of the animals as opposed to just hunting the animals. But yeah, I couldn't tell you what the actual trailer point was. Yeah. There's obviously no mention of Spider-Man, so it's a difficult one. He obviously plays Quicksilver in the MCU, so those two will never cross, surely.
It's the fact that they should have just made the Craven movie. All these movies should have had Spider-Man in. I'm sorry, they should have done. It's a missed opportunity. They didn't need to make Spider-Man movies. They could have made these films about the villains, but still had Spider-Man in them. So, like Morbius should have had Spider-Man in it, and like the Craven movie should have been Craven's Last Hunt. Is it called Last Hunt? The one with Spider-Man crawling out of the grave and stuff.
Yeah.
If they'd have made that into a live-action movie, people would have been all over that.
The difficulty is that the Last Hunt, it was post symbiote, but he was wearing a black suit, so there would have to be a reason for him to wear the black suit.
But this is the thing as well. Do you remember back in the day when we would have a film where Val Kilmer played Batman and then George Clooney played him the year after and nobody cared? I missed that time, if I'm honest. I missed the time period where we just made a film and people went, "Oh, it's a movie. It's Batman. I'm going to go enjoy it." And then you enjoyed the movie for what it was.
Yeah.
And then, but nobody ever went, "Oh, but it's weird because Val Kilmer played him last time, so then why is George Clooney playing him now?" It's not continuity. I hate that whole thing that Marvel's created now, where every movie has to be linked and it has to be the same actor. Only one person can play Spider-Man. If they'd have treated it like the old Batman movies, just had different people playing Spider-Man in every movie. Just have as long as Spider-Man's in the movie and someone plays him, it's fine.
Yeah. But it's like with War Machine, like Rhodey, like he obviously the actor changed there between Iron Man 1 and Iron Man 2. Like the Bruce Banner, the Iron Man, the actor changed, between the individual film and then the team up film. Like it does happen. Obviously Thunderbolt Ross, like they're obviously bringing in Harrison Ford now to take over. But so it does happen. But they just don't really do it enough. I agree with you. I think it should just be a case of here's a film.
They seem to like doing this thing now where they announce they're more of announced like this person's playing this character, and then they play it for years, like Wolverine, Hugh Jackman. Like they've basically put themselves in a corner now where you can't accept anyone else but Hugh Jackman playing that role.
Yeah.
Whereas before, Batman could have been anyone as long as it was a suave dude. That's all that really was the thing, wasn't it? Like you had different actors playing him. But not once as a kid were you ever like, "Oh, it doesn't make sense."
Right.
It was just Batman.
Sony kind of shot himself in the foot with this as well, because like Morbius, the trailers. Do you remember when the trailers came out and they had Spider-Man graffiti?
Yeah.
They had Oscorp in there as well. Like all of these kind of tie-ins, and then when the film was released, it had removed all of those, so they were literally just in the trailer and that's it. But then they brought in the Vulture from the MCU at the end, and it was like, what? Like a bit of graffiti I could have got behind and kind of gone, okay, cool, it's the same universe. But bringing in a character from a completely different universe and timeline and all the rest of it made it confusing for me.
Yeah, I mean, for me, they should have. For me, if it was going to be a perfect Morbius movie, it should have been the story of Morbius told from his perspective, with Spider-Man in the movie, and have like either Martine Bancroft, who was his love interest, or Gwen Stacy in the middle of it all, and just have them fighting over her, or just a cheesy movie like that is all you need for a popcorn flick. A vampire versus Spider-Man would, come on, that's all you want.
Yeah,
big CGI battle.
100%.
Anyway,
I did enjoy Morbius. I still enjoyed it.
I still enjoyed it for
what it was. But that about brings us to the end of the show this week. Obviously we've done as much as we can with San Diego Comic-Con. If you guys have seen any reveals, or there's any reveals out there that you've seen that we haven't mentioned. I know we haven't touched on all of them. Do let us know in the chat along with the hashtag
Catch Up Crew.
Catch Up Crew. Just so we can get talking, and then if there's anything good that pops up, then we'll bring it up on a later show. I don't think we confirmed what we're doing next week for our show, did we?
No, not for next week.
No. Keep your eyes peeled. Keep your eyes on the on the channels, and we'll announce what next week's show's all about. This one was obviously just a bit of a talking point. Yeah. You got anything exciting happening this week ahead?
Wednesday. Ooh. So Wednesday is Secret Screening at Cineworld, and there's one at View. I don't know what View called theirs, but it's like a horror screening. We don't know what movie it is. We just know it's a film that's coming out over the next few weeks, and that's all we know. And you've got to turn up to the cinema at 7:30 and see what film it is. I've got a feeling it's going to be Maxine. I think that's going to be the one that's going to get screened, but who knows? There's a lot of different horror films coming out this month, so could be any of them.
Awesome. I got a couple of reviews coming out online. I've done a couple of figure reviews, nothing massive, but that's been pretty much the movement for me this week. As I said, I'm waiting on that Ramen Racer. As soon as that lands, then I'm really going to go to town. So yeah, so that is about all of it. Thank you very much for everyone tuning in and chatting away. There are a couple of people there that we didn't mention. We didn't get to. A couple of shout outs quickly. TSL Movie Podcast. How we doing? Thank you very much for tuning in. Ryan's Pizzeria said, "Hi, SuperSorrell. Are you good?" Of course, some of the regulars as well. Shelley's there. Bethany Beth, John Hood. Who else we got? Jordan's reviews and more. Do keep us posted on that cosplay Jordan's reviews. It'll be interesting to see that build up. I do like cosplays. Sean TM as well did say earlier on, we haven't got to it, but I said, did you see the trailer for Batman Capes Crusader? I didn't personally. I'll go and look at it.
I haven't yet. I haven't looked it up, but it's that new TV series that's coming out that's prequel to like the animated one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Looks good.
One trailer I did see that I'll just kind of leave on the note is the Penguin trailer in the Robert Pattinson universe with Colin Farrell. Like, that's a cool trailer.
Did you see the Watchmen animated trailer?
Nope, I will go and watch that right now.
DC's animated movie series is making Watchmen Part 1 and 2, so it's going to be a 2-film jobber. Look forward to that.
Yeah, DC animated films are pretty good. Let's be honest, they are pretty good. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. This was episode 158 of the Geek Week with me, Jacob's Toys, and of course, wonderful one and only SuperSorrell. Do all the likey, sharey, subscribey things and all that kind of stuff. We do appreciate it. It's very much appreciated. Go and follow us on various different channels, and give us a shout, give us a message, or drop a comment or something like that if there's something you want to see us talking about that we don't already. Till next week. Keep it geek.
Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and of course subscribe. Tune in next week for another live show. Until then, keep it geek. www.geekweekinreview.co.uk